Hi, my name is Trina, and this week I decided to create a video um, to discuss the recent events involving the Keystone Pipeline, which runs from Canada throughout the United States in different regions, and the recent executive order stopping the ongoing construction of the pipeline, and how this has affected multiple groups of people that have been marginalized in our society. Um, According to our textbook, society should recognize and include equally all different cultures. Um, and when the Keystone Pipeline began construction, um, there were many Native American tribes that were not asked for their input. Um, the only thought behind the pipeline was how we could get um, and gain fuel independence or energy independence, um, both for the good of the United States and for Canada, without any input from the Native American tribes. Um, this was a really ethnocentric idea because when the pipeline was started, only the advantages were looked at and the advantages to the general US population. Um, and none of the potential disadvantages for indigenous people, tribal lands, um, and the potential for major water contamination. Through the pipeline, uh, it runs mostly across non tribal land. It does run near and around their many waterways and water supplies. Um, and um, with the cancellation comes many thousands of jobs. This is the flip side is many thousands of jobs, potential jobs that were in the process of being created, have now been canceled, as well as many jobs that were already in place. Blue collar workers that have been working these jobs for many years, helping create the pipeline, are now out of a job. Um, During a time in our economy, due in part, large part to COVID, many people have been looking forward to their sustained employment with the pipeline. Um, these groups of people tend to be very blue collar. They know trades like welding and pipe fitting, and so that's a group of people that um, in society that um, are losing out because of this cancellation. I can agree. Maybe the pipeline construction needed to be reviewed and regulated, but with our economy in such a precarious condition um, due to COVID, the abrupt halt of construction is devastating to many families who might already be marginalized due to the isolated and rural areas that they work and reside in and their specialized job skills. Um, the new administration says the new green jobs will help offset the loss felt by the pipeline workers. But I think maybe if there was a way to ease into the halt of the pipeline and have those green jobs all ready to go, there would be a lot more unanimous support for the cancellation of the pipeline. Um, this is the impression that I was under when the new administration was taking office, that they were going to end projects like this, but they would ease into that. They wouldn't just cancel them before people had a chance to find other employment. Um, every 4 years, when a new administration is elected, the indigenous people of the United States have renewed fears for their land and the health of their people because every time there's a new president, they have new ideas, and so their security is constantly every 4 years is in question. In a report published by USA Today on January 21st, 2021, Angelina Cheek, a Fort Peck tribal member, says she is, quote, relieved Biden canceled the permit and she knows her work is not done because every 4 years that can change. Um, this statement speaks to the marginalization many tribes have experienced dating back to the colonization of the United States. Indigenous people have long suffered at the expense of modernizing or, quote, improving the land. As a social worker, I can see the dilemmas faced by the tribes and the Keystone Pipe employees and the potential employees. The tribal members have very legitimate concerns over environmental safety, also lack of contingency planning for when and if something were to go wrong. Their culture honors and protects the earth, its many blessings, and especially water. Western culture tends to value profits over people, which I can't really judge either. Families are hurting financially, and the pipeline jobs were something many people were looking forward to as a way to better their futures financially. At this point, I'd say a social worker's role or perspective might be needed to help families access additional resources for food, housing, clothing, etc., until they can find other employment. As a social worker, even though my personal perspective may side one way or the other, I can't imagine the many known and unknown implications of this cancellation. In a Fox News article, Neil Crabtree, a welding foreman, had this to say of his crew. He was forced to lay off many of his crew members. One was quoted saying the cancellation was totally political. It doesn't matter if I agree or disagree with his statement. The point is, if this worker came into my office seeking help and resources, I need to put my ideas and beliefs to the side and dig in to really listen to this person so I know how to best help get them where they want to be. That's one of the best ways to be a good social worker, to have the awareness of self. It's not my job to judge, it's just my job to help.